Hello everyone for today's video from SuperUnited Blitz Croatia 2025. Round 12 we have Praggnanandhaa versus Giri Anish. Shaking hand and start. Praggnanandhaa start with p3 Nimzo-Larsen attack. c5 by Giri, bishop p2 and knight c6, and we have now c4, and we move to kind of English variation, e6 by Giri, maybe preparing for d5, knight f3, and knight f6, g3. So d5, pawn takes pawn, and pawn takes pawn, bishop g2, h5. Interesting. Castle, bishop e7, maybe d4, or h4. Not allow Giri to play h4, opening the file for the rook. Maybe h4. So h4 on the board now. Castled by Giri. And we have now d4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, and we have now bishop on g4, making pressure on e2 pawn. So knight c3 and rook came to e8, making pressure, more pressure on e2 pawn. Rook c1 and rook c8. Knight came back to f3, covering the e2 pawn. a6, preparing maybe for b5. And the position still equal. a3 by Praggnanandhaa. And maybe he will play king d7, plan for playing bishop h3, or he will move his bishop to f8 or play bishop d3, c5. There is so many moves for Geri to play. What he will play, he played finally queen d6. We have b4 and rook c d8 by Geri. supporting the pawn on d5. Maybe he can play now e4, kicking this knight on c3. Less than 3 minutes for Praggnanandhaa and 3.5 for Giri, and the position still equal. So queen d3, maybe he will bring one of the rook for d1, and now Giri, I think he can play d4. Three minutes for Giri and 2 minutes for Praggnanandhaa. Giri played knight e4. Maybe you want to exchange the knight, and if you take the bishop with the queen, then discover attack on e5. But Praggnanandhaa played rook f d1. Knight takes knight on c3, and bishop takes knight by Praggnanandhaa. And what now? Now he played bishop f6. Also want to play d4. Rook d2. Maybe he want to double rook on the d file. Now we have e4 on the board, and bishop came back to b2. And every player have 2 minutes on the clock. So queen e6 by Giri. Queen came back to b1. Rook d7 also wants to double rook, maybe on the d file. Rook c d1 and rook e d8. Every player wants to control the d file. So queen now on a1, making pressure on the pawn on d4, and the bishop on f6. Position still equal. Queen came back to e7. Every player have 1 minute 15 seconds on the clock. Queen came back to c1. I don't know what he wants to do. Less than 1 minute for every player. I think it will be time pressure for both. Now g6 and rook came to a1, bishop came back to g7 and queen came back to a1, rook d6, position still equal, but the issue is the time. Knight g5, bishop f5. Now he can play e4 maybe. You cannot take the pawn because the bishop is hanging on g7. He found it. Now white is better. He played e4. Bishop came back to g4. And we have now e5. Rook came back to d7. If you take this pawn, then f4 will win the bishop or the knight. e4, bishop h6, and the knight came to e4, and bishop came to g7. So king h2, and now they will play so many so many moves, because every player have less than 20 seconds on the clock, and we will start to see blunder maybe. Now the rook is trapped maybe. Black rook. Bishop e4. Only one square for the rook, e2. Rook came to e2, exchange the rook, and now queen e1, bishop g4. 15 seconds for Praggnanandhaa, 10 seconds for Geri. He takes another pawn, queen check, and the knight cover on c5. We have a5, exchange the pawn on b4. The knight came back to a7. And the position is completely winning for the white now. Two pawn more for the white. 10 seconds for every player. And now check. And now another touch move drama. He cuts the wrong bishop. He want to play that bishop to d5 maybe the winning move. But now the position is equal. 3 seconds for Praggnanandhaa. Position equal. But the diagonal, this diagonal is very dangerous for the black. So now winning for the black. There is checkmate. Now sacrificing the knight. And Giri is completely winning. He have one more pieces. He have two bishop against one bishop. So I think he will resign. Pragg will resign anytime. Nothing to do. And finally, he resigned after he makes blunder. He touched the wrong bishop in completely winning position. Another drama, touch move drama. Thank you for watching.